The independent Azerbaijani news platform Abzas Media, represented here today by interim editor-in-chief Leyla Mustafayeva, will receive a free media award for its decisive, systematic, investigative journalism. Founded by a group of young activists and journalists in 2016, Abzas Media quickly gained a large audience on social media. These days, the media outlet is especially well known for its reporting on state corruption. For example, the journalists have turned a spotlight on state procurements in connection with the reconstruction of destroyed villages and cities in Karabakh. Abzas Media exposes frequent breaches of human rights in Azerbaijan, while consistently remaining true to journalistic principles when reporting on court cases, the struggles of marginalized groups, and the political opposition. In autumn 2023, the Azerbaijani authorities cracked down by arresting 6 key journalists and editors from Abzas Media. They were allegedly charged with smuggling and conspiracy to bring money into the country illegally. In August, 7 more charges were brought against the incarcerated team members, who now face up to 12 years imprisonment. Several of Abzas Media's partners were also subjected to restrictive measures, and some of those involved in investigations were denied permissions to leave the country. In November 2023, 15 recognized media institutions joined the Forbidden Stories Consortium, where they are continuing to pursue investigations started by Abzas Media. In February 2024, the imprisoned editorial team appointed Azerbaijani investigative journalist Leyla Mustafayeva as interim editor-in-chief of Abzas Media. Following that decision, a new investigative team consisting of exile-based journalists and Abzas Media announced that the platform will continue its activities from outside of Azerbaijan. So, Leyla Mustafayeva, please join me here and receive our award.
Thank you so much. It is so nice to see all of you here. And when I listened to my colleagues today here, I realized that we have so much common together. Starting from the presidents, with Putin, Lukashenko, Orban, Aliyev, which is very good friends, and also oppressions to the journalists, the threats that they're facing. It sounds like something like controlled and implemented with the same mechanism, that killing the journalists, threatening them, and also jailing them. It was a very difficult time starting from November last year. The Azerbaijani authorities started a huge crackdown on the media. And in this time, The offices of 2 media platforms was shut down, and currently about more than 20 journalists has been jailed. If just to present the scope of the oppressions in the country, I can say that currently there are more than 300 political prisoners in the country. And despite the fact that when Azerbaijan was joined to Council of Europe, one of the commitments was that there will be no political prisoners in the country. And this number is actually the highest number that's recorded in last decades. I will try to speak briefly about which threats our colleagues was facing. The editor-in-chief of Abzas Media, Shchyrakova, he is in jail right now, and also the director of Abzas Media, who has been jailed since November last year, prior to their arrest, that they have been targeted by Pegasus spy software as well. Despite the fact that actually the governments are using this kind of spywares to find the criminals. But for Azerbaijani authorities, journalists investigating their shady business, they are criminals. Azerbaijan is going to host climate conference this year, and it is a good opportunity for the authorities to cover up these problems of freedom of speech and political freedoms under this issue, just as if this problem doesn't exist, and Azerbaijan is very open to solve the environmental issues and climate as well. But one of our reporters, Nargiz Absalamova, she has been jailed, and she was covering the protest-related gold mine in Azerbaijan. And her videos hit millions of views in social media. And this journalist covering the environmental issue is in jail. Imagine that the government who doesn't give guarantee to fundamental rights to its citizens can't give a guarantee to justice for climate. They are just hiding themselves, their illegal activities under this climate conference that I think that you have to take into consideration. Apart from that, Azerbaijan government had good collaboration with European institutions as well. This good collaboration, I mean the so-called good collaboration. I think that you still remember this caviar scandal in Council of Europe and how the Azerbaijan bought European politicians, which means that the problems that is happening in Azerbaijan doesn't remain within the borders of this country. And they jeopardize and threatens the reputation of European institutions as well. In this regard, one interesting point is that after the war between Ukraine and Russia, Azerbaijan has promised to increase the volume of gas export to European countries. It is very controversial for us. I think that there should be no difference between a big authoritarian president and a small one. And Putin, Aliyev, they are following the same line. They are just different. The only difference between them that is Putin is threatening, exporting an ideological threat to European countries, but Aliyev is doing it within the countries, its borders of its countries to its nation. And attacking on journalism is one of the options just to make the society deaf, mute, and blind. Apart from that, the economy of Azerbaijan is heavily relies on oil and gas exploitation. If you just bring all this all together, it gives a clear idea that the country who is talking about environmental issues and climate can't be heavily dependent of these fossil fuels. My only request is that if maybe some of the yours will visit Azerbaijan during this climate conference. And for us, it is very important to bring the issue of journalists and jailed journalists and political prisoners to the attention of Azerbaijani government. Thank you very much for your attention.